Hello everyone, and I am back with some news, some Beyond Meat news, some plant-based meat news, and the reactions from the general producers of non-plant meat, which I suppose was bound to happen. So, a Quebec cattle farmers want Beyond Meat to stop marketing itself as plant-based meat, and they've filed a complaint with the Canadian Food um, Inspection Agency. That's it, CFIA. And basically, they do not want Beyond Meat to be able to use the term meat. So here is Beyond Meat on the day they went public. I mean, everything is going very well for them. And here is this article. Cattle producers across the country are backing Quebec colleagues who have filed a complaint over a popular new meatless burger that is being advertised as plant-based meat. Now, the great thing about this is you know just how popular this is for it to be having a complaint lodged against it or filed against it. It's really taken Canada by storm, quite frankly. The Quebec Cattle Producers Federation says the marketing that goes with Beyond Meat's vegan products is misleading, and contravenes Canadian rules. They're calling on the country's food inspection agency to intervene. The complaint was for the use of the words plant-based meat, said Kirk Jackson, a vice president with the Federation and a cattle farmer from Quebec. Under our current regulations in Canada, governed by the Canadian Food Inspection Agency, the definition of meat is product derived from animal carcass, so we want to protect the integrity of the products we produce. Really? Is that what you're worried about? Because most people understand plant-based meat does not equal animal-based meat. Is that what you're really afraid of? Beyond Meat, a California-based company that makes plant-based sausages, patties, and other products, has become increasingly popular in Canada and has recently appeared on grocery shelves in Quebec. The first product appeared on breakfast and burger menus at A&W restaurants in Canada, and this week Tim Hortons announced it will test 3 Beyond Meat breakfast sandwiches with the potential to roll them out across Canada by the end of summer. Can't wait. Cannot wait. Jackson said farmers don't take issue with the product itself. Really, it's the use of the word meat that cattle farmers have a beef with. Oh, look at that. Now, just like Miyoko was being sued by that one person who said that her vegan butter was misleading because it doesn't have the same nutritional profile as regular butter, and somehow she picked up the package and missed the words vegan and cashew based and all that other stuff because I don't know, perhaps she was shopping while blindfolded. But anyway, so this is along the same kind of lines, except that this is the Cattle Association in Quebec. It can be plant-based protein, but don't say plant-based meat, he said. Meat has its own definition, and we want to hold up that integrity for the product we produce. The Federal Safe Food for Canadian Act prohibits advertising in a manner that is false, misleading, or deceptive, or likely to create a false impression with respect to its nutritional values. Well, this is where they won't have a leg to stand on because the Beyond Meat patties come in with just about the same nutritional profile, which is one of the things that Ethan Brown has been very keen on doing. And the same with Impossible Foods. They've created plant-based meat burgers that will rival the animal-based meat versions of them, so that people can't say, well, eating this is going to be make you deficient, because no, it's got a lot of iron. What it doesn't have is the cholesterol and as much fat as the animal-based version. So, Canadian Cattlemen's Association hasn't filed its own complaint, but the organization's manager for international and government relations says the Quebec group has its backing. We would agree with Quebec cattle producers that we need to make sure that food nomenclature is clear and following the regulations of Canada. Okay, but there is when a label violation is identified, the CFIA requests the necessary corrections to be made by the regulated party in question. Beyond Meat said in a statement last week that it intends to respect Canadian norms with all future communications, but it was unclear what steps they'd take. Okay, there's no comments on that one, but I wanted to go over to another article. Is this the one I wanted? Okay, this one here. So again, it's about this. Now this one does say Canadian meat producers file official complaints. So I think it did go from Quebec now to the Canadian meat producers filing complaints against Beyond Meat. Come on, we know what this is about. You're terrified because there are finally some products out there that rival your product that people realize are better for their health, and especially with this the Canadian Food Guide suggesting more plant-based. This is the kind of thing that people can eat and say, hey, I'm having more plant-based foods. Might not be whole foods plant-based, but it's still more plant-based. It doesn't contribute to the environmental impacts, etc., and tastes as good, because that is all that really matters for most people. So in case you didn't already know, the Beyond Meat burger has been the latest and hottest craze in the food world. Canadians have been going absolutely crazy for the plant-based burger that has been designed to taste like real beef, even though it is completely meat, soy, and gluten-free. While this is the perfect option for those who are planning to cut meat out of their diets, Canadian meat producers don't seem to be very happy about it. Yeah, they don't want their market share going down the toilet. 2 Canadian meat producers have filed official complaints against Beyond Meat for using the word meat in their products. The Quebec Cattle Producers and the Union of Agricultural Producers of Quebec state that it is a false representation and misleading to use the word meat within their packaging. At the moment, the Beyond Meat brand is using the phrase plant-based meat. Like, no one's that stupid. We understand that plant-based meat, we know what it is. Consumers know what it is. Those people buying this in droves know what this is, and they're very intrigued about it and excited about it. So according to TVA Nouvelle, these meat producers state that using the word meat for any product that does not actually include meat is a false representation, and are urging the Canadian Food Inspection Agency to stop the allowance of this on the packaging. This means that they want the word meat to be completely removed from all plant-based packaging and advertisements throughout the nation. However, of course, there we go. Weirdly enough, these 2 meat producers do have the grounds to make this complaint. MTL blog states that according to the CFIA, meat is defined as the edible part of the carcass, which does technically mean that the word meat is coined to those products that involved animals, which is just so wrong. However, the president of the Union of Agriculture Producers of Quebec doesn't stop there. According to the TVA, he also states that one of the main concerns is that using the word meat is going to lead to confusion. Oh yeah, here we go. People are just so confused. No, they're not. The people who are buying Beyond Meat at A&W at certain locations more than the beef know exactly what it is. The president also states that it needs to be made more clear that these Beyond Meat products do not contain meat in them. This is because real meat and plant-based meat contain different nutritional value. Well, that's not really the issue here, is it? They state that the 2 products are completely different, and that the Beyond Meat is processed products, while normal burgers are completely pure because, yeah, exactly, they just come right off the cow, just like that. No seasoning, no nothing. And they've got fat, saturated fat, cholesterol that's inherent in them. How is that? I mean, it's a purely bad product. Anyway, however, with the Beyond Meat burger being the biggest plant-based craze in Canada right now, it can be assumed that consumers are aware of the fact that these patties don't actually contain meat in them. Beyond Meat burgers have even made their way onto the shelves of grocery stores across Canada lately due to their popularity, and it's pretty safe to say that those who are purchasing them aren't confused. Absolutely not. So the other thing I just want to look up here, because although the what did they say, the CFIA regulation says meat is what do you call it, defined as part of a carcass. Meat has traditionally been defined as not only that. For example, coconut meat. So that the fruit, the meat of the fruit, has always been called that. So here we go. I don't know if you can, hopefully you can see that. It says meat is the flesh of animals used for food, or the edible part of anything as a fruit or nut. Crack the walnuts and remove the meats. Okay? So it's not just animal-based foods. People are forgetting that for thousands and thousands of years, perhaps millions, since civilization, people have used the word meat to refer to plant matter. This is the meat of it. This is coconut meat. This is, the meat in the nut, whatever it is. So now I'm just going to go to one more article, and this is about the Alberta beef producers are watching this complaint. So beef producers in Alberta are carefully watching an ongoing complaint from their Quebec counterparts. The complaint's target is the American veggie burger company Beyond Meat. So it's just going on to talk about how popular this is, and the vegan company hopes to tap into the meat eater market because the burger more closely tastes like beef than standard veggie patties. And they basically are saying that the Quebec beef producers are saying that they have no right to advertise their product as meat. And if they're saying we're selling plant-based protein, we don't have an issue with that at all. That's not misleading at all. Why don't they now start, putting things on their products that more accurately reflect what they are? Major contributor to heart disease. What about dairy? Instead of calling it dairy milk, and this is where people actually are misled. How many people really don't get that the milk of a cow is meant for the cow's babies, just like all mammals? So many people literally believe we were designed to drink cow's milk. That needs something on there saying cow's milk. Cow's milk meant for calves. Those are the areas where we could start educating consumers. Okay, so when they start introducing terms that they're using in a comparative way and sometimes in a negative way in their advertising, then that's where we think it's unfair and misleading to our industry and to consumers. They're scared. Everybody's running scared. So let's just see here. I'm curious on one hand, but I really like hamburgers and I really like meat. This person is skeptical of plant-based alternatives posing any threat. As a proud meat eater, he hasn't tried the Beyond Burger as well. That's so you're so proud that you can't try something. You know what? This person is afraid to actually try it because he knows he might like it. And this also says that Canada's beef industry has taken a few knocks lately. It criticized the country's new food guide, exactly emphasizing plant-based proteins, and it's seen beef and cattle exports decline in recent years. Well, thank God for that. So this person who, come on, can't even try a Beyond Burger. Give me a break. But what I wanted to do, guys, because I find this to always be fun, there's 1358 comments. Let's see what some of these might say. Let's see if people are overwhelmingly triggered or supportive. Okay, well, here's someone who says, it's the beginning of the end for the meat industry. It's not sustainable and it's not affordable to a large part of the world's population. Thank you. And someone replies to this person by saying, another prediction in the same category, 12 years left of the Earth due to climate change. Okay, your point is mute. All foods need water to produce, and water is never, and oh, shut up. There's so much water that goes into producing beef. It's unbelievable. People who do the research understand that. Okay, that's like saying I have a burger that tastes just like McDonald's. See how far you get with that. No, because McDonald's is a specific brand. Beef is a cow animal part, or, parts of cows' bodies ground up. That's not the same. Okay, the terms meat and beef are specific. They should be treated the same way. I agree, beef is specifically the meat that comes from a cow, but meat can be plant meat and animal-based meat. Okay, so I'm just looking at some of this. These things cost a fortune, so for the amount of burgers I eat, which isn't a lot, I'll stick with the beef variety, thank you. Yeah, because, beef is highly subsidized, and it's always sad to me that people are not concerned about animals. Taste is all they really care about. And sometimes it's about money, but for some of these proud carnivores, it's just, anyway. If you're listening to this and you watch my videos, you know exactly how we all feel about this. I have tried it and I'll stick with real meat. It costs more and doesn't taste like meat. If you put it on a burger and smother it with mustard, relish, onion, tomato, you likely can't tell the difference. I've been eating meat all my life and in 17 years never had a heart problem or any other health concerns except arthritis, where old people get arthritis. Okay, well, Robert Taylor, that doesn't mean you can't drop dead of a heart attack at any point. Even if I wanted to try it, it's an American product, so no thanks. Okay, we've got some patriotism there. You can't label almond and soy liquids as milk, so you shouldn't be able to label plant patties as meat. Okay, so we've got a lot of triggered people. They aren't doing that, though. Not any more than I can't believe it's not butter, claiming to be butter. Yeah, remember that? I can't believe it's not butter. Come on. So the beef farmers are worried that the plant-based meat substitute will take away their livelihood. The way I look at it, growing vegetables is a lot easier than raising beef. You plant it, you fertilize it a couple times, and you harvest it. With beef, you need to grow and feed and look after the livestock, which is a daily job. Also, aren't the canola farmers looking for another crop to grow right now? And this is nice for people who like the taste of meat without abusing animals. Yeah, thank you. Oh, I don't even want to see this. Who's abusing animals? Not going to look at that. Can't be bothered. You have to analyze the product, not the source of the product, but I'm guessing the organic growers would resist this. Okay, so I don't know. Let's see a few others. An old friend of mine had a certified organic farm, but unfortunately right next door was a dairy farm spraying herbicides and pesticides on GMO-free feed corn. Yeah, this is a problem. It's a different problem. I think I'll have one of these for lunch and screw the naysayers. Thank you. In the free market system, competition is a good thing. If you can't operate without subsidies, then do what most people do. Try another form of the agriculture business and raise a field or two of peas and canola and get with the program. Socialism is not the answer. That's an excellent point. We always talk about competition. Yes, Canada is a bit more on the social end of the capitalist spectrum, but we still believe in competition. And these people, these beef farmers, ultimately are trying to knock out the competition. Bring it on. People want to eat this, let them eat it. Hopefully it is loaded with preservatives, the kind that will get absorbed into our bodies. Think of that as a good thing, as over the years, enough of these preservatives will accumulate and we won't require embalming when we die. Really? Do you know what they put in meat, you moron? Okay. Anyway, so that's it. I'll be watching for the lawsuit on barbecue chips and Orange Crush. Okay. Had one, won't have another. Try it, make your own choice. I tried a Beyond Beef at A&W a couple months ago. It was hard to tell what the actual burger tasted like. It was completely drowned in mayonnaise and other condiments. Also, there were chunky bits of unprocessed vegetable. Not true. Almost wood twig-like consistency. Absolutely untrue. I don't know if they've improved the burger. That is such a lie. I mean, there's actually no discernible piece of vegetable matter in a Beyond Burger. That is what they excel at. But this is somebody who, and like someone responds and says, I didn't find it like that at all. I mean, it's not like that. And then someone else says, the woody parts are good roughage. Anyway, so that's what's happening, and we'll see how this plays out. Hopefully, with the definition of meat, including plants, this won't be a problem for Beyond Meat. But at the end of the day, guess what? This is more proof that Beyond Meat is reaching farther and wider than they probably ever thought possible when they first conceived of the product. So you go, Ethan Brown. You go, Beyond Meat. I'll be supporting. And thank you guys for watching this video. And let me know your thoughts. Absolutely, because, this is the day and age we are in. And just looking at this, the last thing I want to say, a cow and its calf graze in a pasture near Cremona, Alberta. And all I think is when you look at these animals, why can't people realize that if you can have something else that replicates the taste, maybe not exactly, but does it have to be exact? Why can't you opt for a cruelty-free diet? And to the persons who say that you couldn't taste the meat because it was covered in mayo and so forth, well, don't you do the same with beef burgers? Do you go to A&W and ask for a beef burger and they just give you a patty between bread? No, they put ketchup, mayo, uncle sauce, relish. They put all that stuff on there. It's exactly the same thing. The point is, if you can't tell the difference eating a burger loaded the way you would eat a beef burger loaded, eat the plant-based option, help save the planet, and be compassionate while you're at it. All right, guys, that is all for now. Thanks for watching, and see you in the next video.